Hey everyone, it's Katie and Elisha from NowThatWe'reAFamily.com, and today Katie is going to be walking you through our toy situation.
Yeah, so toys, I didn't realize that we had good systems around toys until we had people over to our home and multiple people started saying, wow, there's no toys, where's the toys? I think they felt that there was going to be a lot of toy clutter coming into our home because we have a 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 3-year-old, and 2-year-old. Well, no, 6, 5, 3, 2. Had some birthdays in there. And so we're definitely in the toy stage of life, I guess, but toys have never been something that have taken my time or energy, or a lot of our money for that matter. And so I want to share with you guys how we have kind of designed our home, how we organize our toys so that they don't become a burden to us or to the children.
It's pretty cool now looking back in retrospect how aligned Katie have been on this subject really since we started having children. And now that we have some children that are getting older, 6 years old and 5 years old, I'm becoming more and more grateful that our house is not cluttered with big, plasticky, loud, space-taking toys. Our home is such a place, even though it's not a big home, it's not a fancy home, but it's a very peaceful and restful home, which is something that Katie and I both truly value. And so I'm so grateful that Katie has been intentional in the area of organizing and systematizing the toys that we do have. And I'm not gonna lie, when we go to other people's homes that have a lot of children and I notice the abundance of toys, do our children love it and you feel like they're at the fair? Yeah, they do, but it actually makes me all the more grateful for the home that we've created over the last few years through simple systems and really valuing quality of space and quality of peace and quality of family time.
I think that's something when it comes to almost everything that we bring into our home, I think we first think, okay, it's a decluttering problem. I need to declutter. That's a good thing, that's a good starting place, but if we keep decluttering and decluttering and decluttering and decluttering, that is not the problem. That's not the root issue. Sometimes we could think, oh, well, we have an organizational problem. I just need to organize stuff better. But it's not like the fancy new organizer at IKEA that is going to keep our home in a well-organized state. Most often I find that for me, the root when I have a pain point in our home is a buying problem. But anytime something starts to burden us, it's a great idea to declutter. But then if it becomes a burden again, then it's probably not the root of the issue, and most likely it's a buying issue.
All right, so are you ready to just start walking through and showing me and everybody else what we've got going on?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Okay, so here I am in our living area, and it was really important to Elisha and I that our living room feel peaceful as often as possible, especially in this season with little children. I think often the common response to little children is, oh, it's a season, we'll just deal with it. But I think peace of mind is even more important during this season, and so that means peace of environment. If you look over here, we do have some toys in this space because we have a 2-year-old, and so we have this built in put here in our living room, and hidden here underneath the cushion are the toys that are stored in our living room. But inside here we have books that are easily accessible here in the living room, and we have toys that are easily accessible here in the living room. So it's just balls, you know, rubber band guns, squirt guns, little toy cars, things that are easy to grab. What I love about this is that the kids, it's a very manageable amount. And I think that that's something that's important when it comes to how much we're storing in one location. And so for me, I just store toys of like kind together. This enables no decision making. My 2-year-old, when I say, hey, pick up the living room, he knows all the living room toys go in that box and he picks up after himself. I don't ever pick up toys, and my kids don't get stressed out by managing their own toys. So that's just one tip to keep in mind, is one kind of toy in one location. And then another tip to keep in mind is only keep as much in that location as you want dumped out. Okay, so now heading down to our hallway closet. This is kind of like a I want to say jack of all trades closet, but basically it is a closet that has everything I need. It's very accessible to the kitchen, it's accessible to upstairs, and that is this closet. Something that I teach in our 3-day organizational course in the Get It All Done Club is put things where you use them and where you need them, not necessarily where they should go. And this is why I'm a big fan of designing your own systems in your home for organization, because you know what your flow is, you know where you go to grab for things. And if you hire a professional organizer or something like that, it might look really beautiful, but it probably won't be systematized to what you naturally do, your little habits, your kids' little habits, so it probably won't stay in a systematized state. So that said, let's open up this closet. It's kind of tight to film in here. We have already done one video detailing how this is kind of our children's grab and go closet when it comes to getting on their jackets and their shoes and all that kind of stuff. So I will link a video for you guys down below on that system there. It's also a closet. I have diapers in here. I have the stuff box, which is really just a overflow box for school. These are books for school. The whole row here is the children's school stuff. And then down here in the corner, I have their drawing supplies. So this will kind of fall, I guess, under a toy, and that all the kids have little pencil caddies, or I don't know what you call those things, pencil boxes down there, and they have their papers and coloring books and things that they can grab out on their own whenever they want. I would consider this our toy rotation. Not accessible all the time. The children only get these things when they ask for them, and it's only during certain times of the day that they get to access some of this stuff. I'm a big fan of having your toy rotation in your home. If you are keeping things out in the garage, it's really hard to tell if you have excess or not. So if I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of this area, up here at the top we have the kids' games, and I'll show you in each one of these. We have my puzzles. We have the arts and craft supplies. I do not keep craft caddies around because, again, with toddlers and little children, that just means that they're going to use it all up or mix and match stuff. I like to be able to control what art supplies they're taking out when and make sure those all get put back before we take out new stuff. We have the kids' Magna towels. We have trains, and then here we have kind of STEM stuff, STEM experiment stuff. I went to just kind of like a thrift store and got a bunch of odds and ends that they like to screw and nail and put together. These bins will come out multiple times a day, but something that I like about this size of bin is that it's a good size. I'll have them linked down below. But then I also know, okay, we have enough mag towels. Like, this is full. I don't need to go buy the construction set. I don't need to buy the city set. And you know, toys are set up so that we always want to buy more of them. But my kids, this is plenty for them to pick up. This is plenty for all 4 of them to play with. We don't need any more. Like, if they play for 2 hours with these, we're good. It's the same thing with our train set. Once that is full, it's done. I'm not buying any more train accessories or anything like that. So this can kind of help us keep an eye on, are we over purchasing or are we keeping a manageable amount of things? So something that I do to manage space when it comes to the kids' games, puzzles, things like that, is I unbox all of them and I put them in these Ziploc bags. I do this for everything. They're super durable. I label everything. So we have their ABC puzzle. We have Chutes and Ladders, Twister, Candyland. Like, look how skinny Candyland is, you know, and I would be dealing with a big box trying to stack these all up somewhere. They're barn puzzles. We have in these little ones memory, And Uno, we use these for everything. So again, I could probably fit a couple more games in here. We aren't huge game people, but I find that for us, this is enough. It keeps the kids interested. We'll probably like get rid of Chutes and Ladders and add in Monopoly at some point. This is as many games as we're gonna probably ever have on hand at one time. And putting them in those little Ziploc containers makes them very manageable for the kids to put away. I'm not getting upset if the kids crack a box, because that's where I was getting frustrated before. I'm like, you guys are breaking these cardboard boxes. And then it was like, I don't even want the box. So that's something that's really helped us with game storage. So our arts and crafts storage is similar. Anytime you can, when it comes to organization, you want to think file, not pile. So here you can see I kind of have a little filing system for our glitter, pipe cleaners, paints, watercolor, Play-Doh. I got stamps here, and then little baggies of anything. So it's just not like all piling out and getting everywhere. The jewels. This is a nightmare, I tell you what. Okay, so something that why I like this system is I don't just say, okay, here's the arts and crafts, go play arts and crafts. Like if we had an arts and craft cupboard or something like that. Instead, the kids will say, hey, I want to watercolor. So I go, great, I come in, I get out the watercolor zipper, I put this on the table. They aren't being tempted by all the other stuff in this box to get distracted, and they just watercolor. And what this does is it keeps arts and crafts fresh, because they don't have access to everything all at once. They have to think, do I want to play Play-Doh? Do I want to paint? Do I want to bead? Do I want to draw? Do I want to stamp? What do I want to do? And then I get out that one activity for them. This also really helps because it's a pre-thought of art invitation or play invitation for your child. This is something that I used to do when my children were younger, when they had a harder time coming up with things to do. I would just come in here, I would get one of these things, I would put it on the table for them, and then they would just come up, see it, and start to play with it. I wouldn't say, hey, go play stamps now, or anything like that. Sometimes when we give our kids a lot of options, they just get overwhelmed or nothing sounds fun to them, especially if they're feeling bored. And so by setting out an art invitation of any one of these things, I'm not having to think of it. I just grab a Ziploc baggie, I set it on the table, and they all of a sudden are like, oh, that looks fun. I'll go play that.
Hey you guys, I just wanted to tell you real quick about my homeschooling course, Homeschooling the First 3 Years. It's all about laying a foundation of joy and confidence and fun and simplified homeschool in your home. So if you're in a place where maybe you're considering homeschooling your kiddos in the next few years, then this course is for you. It's going to break down not only what we do for homeschool in our family and what we've done for the first 3 years in homeschool, but it's also going to show you exactly how that looks. So I'm going to take a camera around with me vlog style and show you how does it look to homeschool with a baby? How does it look to homeschool with a toddler? How does it look to homeschool multiple grades at one time? How do you navigate different learning tendencies? How do you navigate your learning style as a teacher? And how do you motivate children and get them to love learning? I love homeschooling my kids. One of my favorite things that I get to do with them each day, and it's something that I want you to love doing with your children as well. So if you look down in the description box, you will be able to find a discount code where you can get a discount off of Homeschool the First 3 Years, and I really hope that it blesses your home.
So we don't store very many toys in the children's room. I talk about this a lot in my Peacefully Productive Kids course on how your young children can keep their own rooms clean. And that is in the Get It All Done Club. It's just a mini course in there. And I really break that down because I found that my children were getting very overwhelmed cleaning their rooms. And a good thing for you to keep in mind is if I took everything out of the cupboards, if I dumped out the books, if I dumped out the toys, and I put everything on the floor all together, would I be overwhelmed cleaning this up? Because how are we supposed to expect our children, once a mess has been made, to pick up their rooms if we're overwhelmed at all the sorting and decision making that needs to happen when it comes to putting things away? So we keep toys in rooms very minimal. Over here I have my daughter's playhouse, and that is something that she loves to play with. But I found that every time we came to her room, all the little toys and pieces were just all over. And I was about to throw the whole thing away. And actually I was throwing out toys and Lucy goes, Mama, you could throw out my dollhouse. And I was like, what? Like, you don't like that? She goes, it's just everything's broken in there. So I said, Kate, come here. And so together, I brought a trash can and I was like, throw out anything you don't want. She threw out over half of her furniture. And ever since then, she has kept her little dollhouse perfectly neat and tidy. So it just goes to show that sometimes when our kids are overwhelmed, the toy no longer is exciting, and sometimes we need to get rid of stuff, get rid of all the accessories, and they just enjoy playing with their couple of dolls. In this closet, this is my craft closet, and I have a couple toys in here as well. Something that keeps toys fresh for children is having toys that they can only play with at a certain time. So in here we keep the kids' ice cream machine. They're only allowed to play with that at certain times on the weekends. And in my backpack that we take to church, they have their boogie boards in there. They're only allowed to draw on their boogie boards during the church service. And we also keep the barn and animals in this closet as well. That's something they have to request. And usually Lawrence plays with that during his morning time, and that's the only time he gets to play with that. But sometimes the kids will ask me to take it out as well. So we keep toys in a couple other rooms in our home. I don't keep any toys in the boys' room, our older boys' room. They have a lot of books down there, but it was funny, I told them I wasn't gonna film their room today because they didn't have any toys in their room. And my oldest son said, yeah, we have a pull-up bar and we have a lot of books. So apparently they're happy with that. Across the way, Elisha and I have a kind of odd shaped master bedroom. It's kind of like a bonus room slash master bedroom. And my oldest son spends his quiet time while everyone else naps in the house in that room. So because of that, I keep all his Lego in there. He's the only one that plays Lego. Every once in a while, a couple other of my kiddos will go down there and play with it, but I like having the Lego in an out of the way place where the toddler's not gonna get in it. It's not getting drug out in my living room and pieces aren't getting left for a baby to choke on or something like that. So I just like keeping that down out of the way. And for the most part, that only gets used while my son is having his afternoon quiet times. And then the one other thing that we have is the dress-up clothes. It's a little bin in the baby's room. And again, it's kind of nice having that be whenever the baby is napping in his room or having quiet time in his room. That's off limits, and so it makes it more special when the dress up is available. And those are our toys. That's all of them. We haven't bought toys for a while. It's something that I would like to buy less and less of as we move forward. Fantastic toys are things like trampolines or skis or things that the kids can just play on over and over and over and over. We have bikes, we have scooters, things like that, to go on walks every day and things that get us outside. No toys are going to expand beyond those spaces in our home. And I think that that's really important. We live in an 1,800 square foot home now, and so we have more storage space than we've ever had before. When we lived in a little tiny 2-bedroom apartment, we only had 2 boxes for toys because that's all the space that was allowed in that space. And so we just made sure that the toys never expanded the allotted space, which was 2 boxes in that house. Now we have more storage, but I don't have any other places in our home to store toys, and so we're gonna have to get rid of something if we buy something, and I'm happy with the way that that is.
Wow, Katie, that was delightful. I tell you what, I'll follow you around our house with a camera any day, because I learn something new every time I see the intentionality that you've poured into our home, and it's actually kind of convicting when I've appreciated things for so long, not even knowing how much time and effort and intentionality you put into it. And so I'm really grateful for that. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this as well. Katie, any parting words?
Aww. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, you could give it a thumbs up. You can click the subscribe button down below. We post every Thursday. I'll see you next week.